What is up, Transit? It has just been way too long since I've got to actually see your face. I'm not talking about like on the other side of a Zoom call. I'm talking about in person, see your face. And if you're still watching this from home, we hope to see you at Transit on the Lawn very, very soon. We know that this season has been hard. The coronavirus has been crazy. I mean, I'm telling you, we're gonna be old one day and we're gonna look back at this season, this worldwide pandemic. We're gonna be talking about this thing when we're old.
Oh, you guys don't even know what that coronavirus was like way back in 2020. They shut down the whole world, locked us up in our houses, put masks over our mouths where we couldn't even breathe. You don't even know what hard is, kids.
Okay. So maybe it's not going to be like that, but I'm telling you, we're going to be talking about this for the rest of our lives. And I know you want what I want. You want this thing to be over. We want to like return to normalcy, if we can even remember what that was. We remember that it was getting to hang out with people and getting to go to school when we want to go to school and go out of our houses and not wear masks all the time and more freedom. I know that. And so we want to move to the future. But today I want to encourage you to do one thing. I want to encourage you before you rush on to what's next, rush on to the future because we want this thing to be over. I want us, all of us, to take the time to reflect for a minute, to take the time to look back, to consider the past, because if we do, God might have something incredible for our future if we just take the time to reflect on our past. In fact, we're going to look at this scripture today from Psalm 119, and the psalmist who writes this, he took the time to do this. The first half of the verse says, I have considered my ways. And you get this picture of like, okay, I've thought about it. I've looked back, and I've thought about the past, and I've kind of considered who I was, what I did, what that season was like for me, what the last few months of coronavirus and pandemic and quarantine have been like for you. And he looks back, and you can actually see the shift that it takes in his life, the shift that it causes in his life to take a moment to reflect. Because he says, I have considered my ways and have turned my steps towards your statutes. I've considered my ways, I've reflected on the past, and I have now turned, I've changed direction for the future that I was looking towards. I've actually turned my steps, not just towards what I want to do, but towards you, towards God. He's talking to God in this moment. And so you actually see, and my hope for you, my hope for me is that if we just take a minute to consider what the past has been like, we're actually going to see and experience God in a way that turns our steps towards Him, draws us closer to our relationship with God, actually gives us some clarity for the future. Like you might consider the past today in your small group or even alone in your room. You might think back of the past few months and what you see is a God who has actually been faithful with you in the hard times. And that causes you to turn and see more clearly that you want to be closer with God as you walk through whatever is next in your life. Or maybe you reflect back and you see some of your mistakes and you see some decisions that you wish you hadn't have made. But what's also there in your past is a God who forgives you for anything that you've done, and His love for you never changes. And so as you consider maybe a past that you wish was different, what you also experience is a God who forgives you no matter what, and whose love for you never changes. And so as you look towards the future, it's more clearly that you want to draw closer to the God who loves you no matter what. And so what I hope is we take time to kind of reflect whether it's been a good few months or for most of you, a hard few months, maybe even a lonely few months, but you also experience there's a God who loves you and will never, ever forsake you. And so you begin to turn your steps towards Him, to draw closer to God as you look towards the next season of your life. And so we're going to have an opportunity to do that today because reflecting on the past can help give us clarity for the future and draw us closer to God. Reflecting on the past can help give us clarity for the future and can draw us closer to God. So we're going to do that today. If you're here at Transit on the Lawn, you're actually going to get to talk about that with your small group and reflect some on the past. And if you're not, I would just encourage you to get alone with God and reflect on the past and allow Him to let you see where He was in it and that His love is never going to change for you. And I can't wait to see you soon at Transit on the Lawn.